So yeah, I mean the previous classes. I was talking about the previous classes. Like I don't know how comfortable you are with HTML stuff, but yeah, I mean HTML and PHP they are together, but you need not be knowing HTML to learn PHP or vice versa. So I hope there will be no issues in that. So there was only one class happened in PHP until now. That's about how PHP really works, how the server works, how the web architecture works. So that's what has been discussed until now. So today's class is that how do you install PHP, how do you install your web server, and how do you install your MySQL server. So that's the class about, and I'll show you the first code in PHP. Okay, I just mix HTML and PHP, and what editors use to PHP, and what is the extension to be used for PHP. Like for HTML it is .html, right? So like such, what kind of extension you need to use with PHP, and and so on. Okay, so that's about today's class. So if you find uncomfortable at any time, just let me know that hey, this is not understandable, or so that I'll try to explain in a better way. Okay. So yeah, coming to the point here. So previously, what I've discussed, I'll just give a hint for about 5 minutes. So what we have discussed is this is your browser, and this is some hosting server. Okay, and this is your browser. Let's say you type for www dot say www.tutoslive.com. Okay, you type www.tutoslive.com in the address bar. So what happens next? What it does is usually it looks for the files. Actually it is an IP address, so I won't be discussing that what is DNS server, how it happens. That's a different subject. I don't want to indulge into that, but what really happens here is, in a layman technology, it looks for a folder or a place where is this www.tutoslive.com is residing. So it goes to the hosting server where my code is hosted. So in that hosting server, they have a web server. They have a web server. So usually this web server in our context is called Apache. It can be anything, but we'll be using Apache. Okay, so the first request will go to the hosting server, then the hosting server will pass on the request to the web server. So web server will then route what exactly you are looking for. Are you looking for the complete file, or you're looking for an image, or you're looking for a CSS file, or you're looking for a HTML file? So it will route accordingly what you are really requesting first. So what it does is, as soon as it hits the web server, it looks for the root server or root directory. My bad. This is a root directory. So root directory is where all your files are hosted. Whatever the file you have written, the HTML files, right, until now, those files will be residing on this particular root directory. So they will be in this root directory. So you request for the file, then the request will be from the web server will be passed on to the root directory. If it is a HTML file, gives back, and it's given back to the browser, because browser can only understand HTML. So you don't have to manipulate anything in the HTML file to say, hey Anil, how are you? I was waiting for you, man. Now we discussed nothing. We just started. I'm repeating the. I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. So how are you? How's your work? You're busy, right? All the while, trust me. Just because of you, I shifted the class to the morning. Then you told me that it's not possible for me in the morning. Then I shifted it to the evening again. Okay. So no issues in that. Alright, no problem in that. So yeah, if it's a plain HTML file, it will return. What if it is a PHP file? That is the problem, because browser cannot understand PHP. Browser can only understand HTML. So what it does is, our Apache server will give it to the PHP Zend engine, or are called PHP engine. So this is called PHP engine. So if it's a PHP file, it will give to the PHP engine. Okay, so and PHP engine will process it, convert it back to HTML, and HTML is sent. Always remember, it's always HTML, which is HTML response. So when I say HTML response, it means images, CSS files, JavaScript files, whatever understood by the browser. Okay, so this is where we need the PHP engine. We have, if at all, if you have a database to use, if you have information in the database, then we'll be having a database. So usually this is MySQL database in our case, because it's a free database server. So MySQL server. So if there is a connection to MySQL, if I have to fetch data from MySQL, PHP will take care of it. So PHP will connect to the MySQL server and give back the results. Then the results are again, transferred into HTML to be showed on the browser. I mean, back to the Apache, then back to the browser. Okay. Hey Ganesh, how are you? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, now now this is the whole lot of hosting server, right? But what if people, we are developers? So this hosting server, I call it as production server or a live server. Production or live. Okay, this particular server, okay, you only go to the hosting server whenever you are ready or good to go for live. What if you need a development environment? What if you just wanted to test and try it? Right, there should be something, right? So for that sole purpose, what, these open source softwares, like Apache, PHP, and MySQL can be installed in your system too. Okay, so all these can be installed in your computer too, in your system too. So I call this as development or local setup. Okay, so if somebody really likes to do only in local systems, and then when they are ready, then they push to the server. I'll show you guys how to push to the server too. Yeah, so now our today's class will be solely, concentrated on how do we install these softwares in our local system. Plain and simple. So there is some problem with my system because I already have these softwares. So to install them back, I have to uninstall and then reinstall. Okay, so that's one problem I really have here. So I can do that, but I have so much of data which I did not backup. I did not take a backup. So I really don't want to do that, but I'll just tell you guys the steps involved in it. Okay, I'll tell you guys the steps involved in it. You can follow the steps right away. You can do it on the fly. Okay, that's the benefit of the live class. So go ahead, open. Oh, Anil, you also have the setup ready, right? Yeah, you can install now also. I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so just go ahead, put your speakers on. If any question, you can stop me out, and if you're stuck at some point, you can do that. You can install that. If your internet is speed, fast, I'm sorry, you can really install that on your systems too. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen here to show you guys how to install all these things. Yeah, okay, can you guys see my screen here? Yes, can you guys see the screen here? Not yet? Yes, now? Okay, there's the latency. Okay, fine. So now, how do you do it? So I mean, usually what people really do is like, Apache. Oops. Apache web server. So this is the site to download the Apache web server. You can see it here, download. Okay, this is for the Apache. Then you have php.net. Okay, this is a wonderful website, trust me. I mean, I'll tell you how to use this also. Okay, and then for MySQL, you can MySQL. So here, there's a lot of information. You can go to the downloads, and you can see it here. The latest version is 5.5.15, which is just released yesterday, I guess. Okay, and coming to the MySQL here, the world's most popular open source database, that's what they say. And you can also go to the downloads and see, okay, what you really want from here. Okay, so this is my web server, this is my PHP, and this is my database server, right? So if you have to install, you have to install all these separately. First you have to go with the Apache installation. Then if you are using Unix, Windows, or whatever it is, okay, there's a process for it, but I don't follow this process. I always wanted to follow the lazy process wherein nothing much should be involved in it. But yeah, if you are a core programmer, or if your only zeal is geeky, or if you want to be a geek in these subjects, I suggest you go with the from scratch installation, whatever you explore by yourself. No, I really don't want to do that. So usually I'll go with the easy route anytime, because I don't want to be an explorer on these sites. I wanted to be a programmer in a different site. Okay, so what is the alternative we got here? Do we have to install all them separately, or is there any way everything is obtained in as a bundle or as a package, and we just install one software which takes care of everything? Okay, yes, we do have that, and that is called XAMPP. Okay, so you go to this website, www.apachefriends.org.index.html. So here you can see it here. They say, what is XAMPP? XAMPP is the most popular PHP development environment when it is free, and it is easy to install Apache distribution containing MySQL, PHP, and Perl. So, and it is in different flavors too, like for Linux, for Apple, for Windows. Okay, there's everything for it. So based upon your system, click on it. Mine's Windows. Okay, the download starts here. So maybe, yeah, in 1 second. So it's been downloaded now. So 125 MB, my connection is really fast, so that's why it's only 3 minutes. It's just 2 minutes. So this is what you're supposed to download. You can see this symbol here. Okay, that's what I already told you guys, right? I've already have this particular setup in my computer. So I'll just tell you the steps involved in it, what you're supposed to do. As soon as you download it, just open it and follow the instructions. And before doing that, you're supposed to do 3 things. If your Skype is open, close your Skype. Okay, close your Skype, because Skype and Apache share the same port. So that port should be free to install Apache web server. Okay, if you have Skype or anything which is using port number 80, you are supposed to close it. If it is open, you can't really start it. Download it. Okay, just open it, click on it. Open it. If the download is done for you guys, just open it. So it's still downloading. So like as soon as you guys are downloaded it, just open it, try to install it. If there's a problem, take a screenshot if and send it to me at this email, putilapu.sagar@gmail.com. I'll just take care of it right away right here. Okay, Done. It's still working. I guess I have to stop the screen share to happen it fast. But yeah, I'm not gonna install it. It's only you guys. So okay, nice. So the new course is going well, and there's a WordPress course starting up. Okay, today is a demo. If anybody is interested to attend that, I can help you out, guys. To attend the demo. It's a very exclusive demo. Okay, so WordPress, you guys know, right? WordPress is the most famous blogging platform around the world, and nowadays people are using WordPress to set up websites pretty fast. So yeah, no issues in that. I mean, let it be finished. So I'm gonna show you guys, what really happens here. So you open it, you say next, and it gets installed. So it gets installed in whatever the directory you install it in. Okay, so from then, from there, where do you supposed to go? That's our next question here. Alright, it's been installed. Okay, so it's a 1.8.3 version, but mine, okay, after I install, like I'll get to know. And this is the control panel. Okay, so this particular control panel will be installed on your desktops. Okay, it will be on the desktops. So just double click on it and open it. Double click on it and open it. Okay, as soon as it is installed, double click on it and open it. Then these buttons will be like this when you first open it. So Apache, this is the Apache web server, and this is the MySQL server. So PHP is again, it's a constant running thing on the background, so you don't have to start it again, because PHP is, it's just a software. You don't have to start, but the servers has to be started. So just start your Apache and MySQL servers. You don't need MySQL as of now. It's needed only when required, but there's nothing wrong in opening them up. Okay, so just start and minimize. Okay, that's it. You are good to go. You are good to write any program. But where do you store your programs, right? I told you there's a server, that's a server, but where do you store? Now I'm going to show you guys. I'll just walk through you the installation which has been happen in your system. So in my computer it is installed here in local disk XAMPP. So search for this folder XAMPP in your wherever you have installed it. So double click on it. All right, double click on it. So as soon as it opens, go to this folder, htdocs. This is all we really required. Go to htdocs. We are in your fresh installation. Control A and Shift delete everything. You don't need anything over there. Control A and delete everything which is inside htdocs folder. Not the htdocs folder, only which is inside htdocs folder. So whatever which is inside htdocs folder, just Control A and delete. You don't need that. And this is your server. So whatever the file you write in PHP, it should be saved here itself. It should be saved here itself. Okay, this is the place. htdocs, XAMPP htdocs is the place where you save all your files, right? Okay, so coming here, I hope you guys are here now. So I'm going to open a new folder here called Super10. Okay, so I've opened a new folder called Super10. This is where, so htdocs Super10 is my folder. So what I do here is, okay, I'll just copy this entire folder. So I'll just open this up, open folder. So open folder, local disk go to XAMPP, and inside XAMPP go to htdocs. Inside htdocs, so go to your folder, create a folder. Okay, I suggest you create a folder too. So our folder is this. I just open that up. I close this. So Sublime Text, okay? For guys who are already in Super 10 program, they know about Sublime Text. But guys who are new to this, Sublime Text is again a text editor like Notepad++, free to download, very good to manage your projects. So that's the reason I use it. You can also use NetBeans. NetBeans is a powerful IDE for PHP. You can use that too. I suggest using NetBeans is a very good choice if you are a very hardcore developer, okay? But you know, coming to Sublime Text, yeah, you can still manageable, right? So any questions here? Installation completed. Fantastic. Which one? Sublime? No. You can use it for anything. You can use it for anything. Until now we used it for HTML, right? I used it for CSS. You can use it for anything. No issues in that. It's not just confined to just like NetBeans. NetBeans is there for Java. Yes, Notepad++ can be used for PHP. We'll see with Notepad++ first thing. Okay. So that is it. You guys remember what are the steps to be taken care? Just like that. I like it. I like Sublime Text. It's a black editor, autocomplete, auto comments. So that's why I like Sublime editor. Yeah, but whereas Notepad++ has not that much control, and NetBeans has more control. So NetBeans IDE, you guys can, okay, I'm gonna show it here, NetBeans IDE, and this is a very powerful than NetBeans IDE for PHP. And there are some other things called PHP Storm. Okay, PHP Storm is another editor for for PHP. So there are so many editors out there in the market, and PHP Storm is a costly one. It's a paid one, whereas NetBeans, NetBeans IDE is free. Okay, NetBeans is free. You can see it here, for PHP. Okay, so like such. So you just say download here. If you want all, you can download, but only you need PHP and HTML5, right? So you just click on this. If you want Java also, you can do that. C++, you can do that. So I suggest go with the PHP one and install it. So no issues in that. You can use that too. Or no voice? Does anyone have the same problem here? Yes? Does anyone have the same problem? Anil, the problem might be on your end. I don't know. Okay, so that's about it. So let's just see our first program. How do we write our first program? Yes? Any questions here regarding installation? Do not ever forget about to start these. Okay, you have to start these two, and always try to save your files in htdocs. Always try to save your files inside htdocs only. Okay, htdocs is the server, and later on in tomorrow's class I'll show you guys how the configuration files really work. What is configuration file? But today we just learn about the basic program and know how PHP really works out. Okay, that's what I'm gonna show you guys in today's class. All right, both are started? No problem. Just be cool there. After the class, try your own things. Okay, so let's go here. Our first program. So I'll say doc type HTML. The same. I mean, HTML and PHP. I told you they are like brothers. You can't really separate them. Okay. So head, body. So inside the head here, title. So inside the body here, okay, I'll just write positive, class equal to. So you guys remember all these classes? Yeah. So now coming to the PHP part. This is HTML part, right? So how do I do that with PHP? So where is the super 10 here? So the super 10's here. Super 10 underscore first dot PHP. So now onwards the extension is dot PHP. Okay, the extension is dot PHP. So how do you write PHP code? This looks like more like HTML, right? So where is the PHP code, right? So how do you write PHP code? So PHP code is something like this. So at the very top, you can do it anywhere, no issues. I'm doing it at very top. So here, this is how you write. Any PHP code should go inside these two tags or these two syntaxes. So this is the opening and this is the closing. So all the PHP code must be inside. This is what the newcomers do the mistake. They will forget this and start writing PHP code. But if you have to write some PHP code, then you are supposed to write in this code. And there is another problem here. If you write this as HTML extension, let's say this is not super10 underscore first dot PHP, but instead you name it as super10 underscore first dot HTML, you can't really write PHP code in it. You can write HTML code inside a PHP file, but not a PHP code inside a HTML file. Remember this. Okay? So, three things to remember here. First thing, the extension is .php. Okay? The extension is .php. Second, any piece of PHP code should go inside these two symbols. No spaces, nothing. No spaces, nothing. Intact. Okay? So here, what I do is, okay, just watch it. No, don't ask any questions. What is dollar or what is this? Okay, I'll tell this in the next class here. Okay, the first PHP program. Okay, so I just wrote some piece of code over there. You will eventually get to know what exactly is this piece of code. But yeah, I'll talk about the syntax later. But let's just see our first program here. So now I want to put this title. It looks more like JavaScript, right? In JavaScript, if it were to be JavaScript, we used to write like this, right? Am I right? In JavaScript, this will be like this, right? Right? We write JavaScript like this. So this will be var. Exactly the same syntax. So that is why even JavaScript is a scripting language and PHP is a scripting language. Hence, there are some coincidences or some common things between these two syntaxes. Okay. Now I want to put the title here. So again, the title is in PHP, hence PHP. Okay. But to print in PHP, this is the syntax we have. Okay, so wherever I write PHP, you are supposed to write like this itself. So now here, this is a PHP program. Okay, the first in super10 course. So previously, how do we used to look at the HTML files? Double click on the file, right? Double click on whatever the file you're trying to see the output. But in PHP, now this is a server. This is a server and there is something. So usually how do we access the websites? www dot something, right? www.tutorslive.com. So this is how we access websites. So from now onwards, we should supposed to put the address in our address bar itself. So that is localhost / localhost slash whatever the folder you are looking at. I'm looking at Super10. So that htdocs folder, its shortcut in the browser is localhost. Just assume it's a layman's language. I'm not saying that it's the truth, but in layman's language, okay. So if you type localhost, then that means you can access that htdocs folder. Just like when I'm typing www.tutorslave.com, it is going to a folder which is assigned, or which is where the files of the tutorslave are residing. So the same thing, when I type localhost, it is going to my server root folder. So my web server root folder is htdocs. So when I type localhost slash, that means I'm going to my web server's root directory. So enter. Is this the file we have written just now? Right? This is the file, right? You can see it here. The name super10_first.php. So let me just click on it. You see that? It's the title here. The first PHP program. Right? So that's how I can make something dynamic by storing in a variable. So the first program, right? So here I'll say $name equal to www.tutorslave.com. This is the property, a property of, again, PHP code. Wherever, if I want to print, anytime if you want to print, you are supposed to echo it. Echo, remember, echo is nothing but print. Echo is print. Okay, so let's just see now. I'll refresh. You can see it here. www. Oh, there are a lot of W's over there. Right? So that's how I can make something dynamic. Okay, forget about it, these dollars, forget about it, echo. We'll again come back to these concepts, but I'm just showing you guys how to put HTML and PHP together. And this is the beauty of PHP. PHP can easily go with HTML. You can easily embed PHP code. This is called embedding PHP code. So I can easily embed the PHP code. I'll just show you guys something here. So I'll say strong. I can put that inside my markup too, inside my strong. Okay, so let me just go here and refresh. You can see here it's strong. It's not link anymore. It's not link. Just it's a plain text now. I can make this link too. I can do anything, which we'll be seeing in coming classes, how we can dynamically do a lot of things to our static HTML pages. Yes, so this is how I can embed a PHP code inside a HTML code. This is it, and PHP written separately here. Okay, so any questions here before I move on? How exactly this is working out? I'll show you. I explain you how this is working out. How HTML and PHP can so nicely patch up together so that they show a very beautiful output on the web pages. Okay, so any questions here? Don't ask me about the echo and dollar symbols. Just just ask me any other question than that, or you can ask that question too, no problem. However, I'll discuss that later. So any questions here before I move on to the next topic? No? So Numan, how is it working? Yes. So here I would like to mention few points. Okay, the PHP code always goes inside these two symbols. Okay, so remember this, and it should have a .php extension, and you have to save that in htdocs only. If you save anywhere else, it does not really work, because htdocs is my root directory of the server. So always it has to go into the root directory. Okay. So these three things to remember, guys. If you forget these two, always come back to the recorded version and check it out. Okay. So now, how is that working actually? You know, what's really happening out there? I'm writing some HTML code, saving it as .php file, and I'm talking about root directories and a lot of stuff over there. So how does it really work? So the concept behind the PHP engine, you know, how PHP works, is devised by two people actually, and it's called Zend engine. So Zend engine, it's a PHP engine. Okay, this is what behind the processing of PHP code. So how exactly it works? So what's happening here is my file is .php, right? My file is .php and it has both HTML and PHP code, right? Okay, so when this is given to my PHP engine, when I give this to my PHP engine, the first task it does is it separates PHP and HTML. It separates PHP and HTML. That's the reason PHP is written inside these. Now you guys should know why we are writing PHP inside these two, because it's very easy to separate it. Whenever the Zend engine finds these two tags, whenever it encounters this particular symbol, okay, it assumes that there's a PHP code over there. Okay, and it looks for this particular symbol again. If it is there, then separate it from the HTML. So HTML and the PHP is separated, and PHP script is given here. It compiles PHP. So whatever the syntax we have seen, right? We have seen echo, we have seen dollar something. Okay, some syntax we have seen over there, right? So it compiles that particular script. Okay, and it converts into opcode. Opcode is nothing but the what do you call it as, the machine understandable language. So PHP is, we are writing something in English, and it has to convert into a language with a machine understand to process it. Okay, so it does it here. Okay, so now at one point, all of the PHP code which is embedded inside HTML should be given back, right? So whenever I said $title, echo $title, it is printing out the title over there, right? So let me just show you guys again that piece of code so you'll better understand. So here, okay, so this is here the Zend engine encounters PHP code, separates, okay, separates, and let's say, okay, let me just do one thing here. Let me just take a screenshot here. I'll just explain you in a okay, let me just bring it here. Where did I say? So what are your plans for the weekend? We won't be having classes on the weekend. You guys know it, right? So yeah, coming to the point here. So whenever it encounters the script is then separated. Okay, this will be separated, this will be separated, and this will be separated. And what it does here is instead, okay, so this is first PHP code, this is second PHP code, and this is third PHP code. So it caches, because when it processes it, it has to re-embed it, right? I mean, after processing, it has to know where did I get this particular code, where should I put back, right? So it separates it and caches it. It caches saying that, okay, this is the first PHP script, this is the second PHP script, and this is the third PHP script. And this PHP script is compiled, like saying, what is this? What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? Then what is the meaning of this? And what is the meaning of this? So it compiles it, it builds something, and at one point here, when it comes here, it combines those two. It combines those two and gives a HTML file, because why? Browser can understand only HTML. So the ultimate conversion should be HTML again. Okay, so the ultimate conversion should be HTML again. So it mixes those two things and gives a compressed HTML and gives back to the browser so that the browser can read. So that is the reason whenever I say title, okay, that's what it compiled and said that title means first PHP program, and here name means tutoslive, www.tutoslive.com. Put it there, put it here, and give back to the web browser as a HTML code. Okay, so that's how what exactly happening in split seconds over there. So this is all happening in seconds. And if you guys know this, that PHP is faster than your .NET and Java. Okay, so this is all happening. So let me just show you guys the source code of this. Let's say page source. This is the source. You can see here, this was PHP, right, in our code, and even this one. But browser cannot understand PHP. Okay, and there was a PHP code here too, right? There was a PHP code just before this doc type HTML. Okay, even that's not visible to us because browser cannot really understand PHP code. Whatever which is written underscore question mark, sorry, less than symbol question mark PHP and question mark and greater than symbol, the browser cannot really understand. What it can really understand is a processed PHP code which is embedded back using the Zend engine. So it can only understand this particular code. Okay, so that's how the Zend engine is working out. So always remember, this is the best practice to write PHP code. A lot of people, if you go out there and if you go and look out tutorials, okay, they say you the worst practices in PHP, but this is the best practice. So the best practice is always embed your PHP code in HTML. Okay, the best practice is always embed your PHP code inside the HTML tags. So you can also do this. Trust me, people do this. I seriously hate people who does this. So what they do is echo strong, okay, www.tutoslive.com and strong. Even this particular thing, okay, even this particular piece of code will give the same output. Even this particular piece of code will give the same output. But what's the drawback here? You guys understand what's the drawback here? Can anybody spot the drawback here? It can be changed dynamically. Okay, one thing. There's a major drawback here. Okay, I'll explain you that. You can make this dynamic, no issues. I can make this dynamic, but the real problem is, why should PHP compile a HTML code which the browser can really understand it, right? Browser understands HTML code. Why should I include this strong inside PHP when browser can readily understand it? You guys spotting it? You guys can understand? Right? This can be understood by the browser. Why should I put inside PHP? So you can also write this. I mean, I have seen some people who have written an entire HTML file inside PHP code. What really happens there is, okay, when it is given to the Zend engine, if there is an entire PHP code, it comes here, compiles it, opcodes it, no HTML, compressed HTML give to browser. There's a lot of time waste, right? Here, this entire process can be bypassed when I write this in HTML, right? When I write it in HTML, it will separate directly. HTML is cached and it comes here, this point. So that is the reason why you are supposed to embed PHP inside HTML, but not the vice versa. Like, do not ever write your HTML code inside the PHP tags. Okay. So today's task for you guys is first installation. Okay, try to install it, and the next task is write your first PHP code. What I want from you guys is, okay, what do I really want is I want your portfolio, okay, like this, $name equal to your name, location equal to, okay, dollar course, write down your course too, what are the course you are taking. Then what I want is make it as a list. You guys know about list, right? Numan won't be knowing about list. Oh, HTML, you know it. Here print your name. Oops. Where do I take this? Okay, print your name, location, course. I guess you have understood what I'm trying to say here. Try to print a list, okay, using HTML and PHP. That is what. Just this is a small task. Send me before 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock tonight, so that now I'll just see how fast you guys are, how interested you are, how motivated you are. Just plain try it. Don't hesitate if you don't know anything. No issues in that. I'll explain you better if you try it. Okay, try to do it. Best practice. Installation first, your first PHP code. This is your first PHP code. Okay, try to just clone today's file, whatever. I won't make I'll keep this on just list. Yeah, nothing. What I'm trying to say is, like, make a list of your portfolio. This is a list and this is a PHP code. Make a list of your portfolio, not just these details. You can put any number of details. Put any detail over there. I don't care. Okay, so try to remember, without echo you cannot print. Okay, now I'll show you what mistake a fresher does in PHP. Just let's do it. You can do it in Sublime Text, you can do it anywhere, you can do it in Notepad also. It's just a piece of code, right? So I'll show you guys how what mistake does a fresher do. So here I don't say echo. This is what 90% of the PHP first comers do. They don't echo it. Okay, no echo. Let's do it. Let's go here. This is our first program. I refresh. You see that? Do you see anything there? Nothing. The reason? You have to echo. This is the first mistake the freshers do. And you know what the second mistake they do? They forget. They forget that. And let's see what happens there if you forget that. You see that? It did not process because there is no PHP tag. This is the second mistake freshers do, or amateurs I call. Okay, so you're not supposed to do that mistake. Just keep in mind that, you know, do mistakes, but always try to minimize them. Or try to minimize the number of mistakes you really do. So any questions here? And coming to the WordPress thing, yeah, we're gonna start a new WordPress class. So WordPress is more easier than PHP, I suggest. So for people out there who feel like, okay, you know, I don't wanna, you know, PHP, but it's better to know PHP, because if you know PHP, it's easy for WordPress. So that's what I can really suggest you guys. So there's a class opening, but the only catch here is that you can only attend one course at a time. You can't really go here and there, unless, you know, as of now I'm giving that control to everybody, but that may not happen. Jumping out between the courses. So you choose your course properly. Okay, so that's what I really suggest. So if there is an exceptional way saying that, okay, yeah, I want to take 3 courses at a time, I want to wrap up this entire thing very fast, yeah, I'll give you a special package for it, and I have to recode everything for you guys if you are really interested in learning. Okay, so that's about it, guys. So please don't forget to leave a feedback. I'm ending the class here today. So I'm going out of station for the next 2 days. I won't be available on anywhere. So use the time here. I'll be available only until 10 o'clock tonight. After 10, I'm going out station, and I'll be back on Sunday. Okay, so that's the thing about. And Numan, Eid Mubarak advanced. So happy Ramzan. I don't know if I can wish you then. So have a great Eid. Have fun. Enjoy. Yeah, no problem. So yeah, leave a feedback. Yeah, I do. I do. I do. Okay. So take care, guys. Have fun. Don't forget to leave a feedback, and please do share the links on your Facebook walls, Twitter. Now I'm going to Tirupati, and I'm going to Karimnagar on 22nd August. Okay. So take care, guys. Have fun. Enjoy.